Hey there everybody, it's the Nasty One here again, and it's that time of year again, as it's the finale night for INN Survivor over on Tengaged. That's right, you heard it here first. It's a third season wrap-up of INN Survivor, entitled INN Survivor Vanua, Levu. And this season saw 18 new competitors to our series come in and compete in the largest island of Fiji, Vanua, Levu. Now, in this season, it was the 18 members were divided into 3 tribes of 6. And they discovered that a new twist was being applied to the game called Black Vote, where the person who is voted out of the game, up until the final, I believe 6 at this point, we're going to include the final 6, not the final 5. At the final 6, they are allowed to vote for one person left in the game that was on their tribe when they were eliminated, and they won't know who voted for whom, so they could just pick whoever they wanted to assign an extra vote to, and that vote would apply to that person's total at the next tribal they visited. The 3 original tribes were named after regional living districts in Vanua, Levu: Bua, wearing brown buffs, Makawata wearing purple buffs, and Kakaudrop wearing dark green buffs. On these 3 tribes, Bua consisted of Will, Michael, Scott, Reed, DJ, and Bryce. Makawata consisted of Rodrigo, Jim, Brett, Ty, Noah, and Kyle. And Kakaudrop had Josh, Lincoln, Max, Claire, Casey, and Hufus. Now, coming into the game at the first immunity challenge, became very apparent that Makawata was the more dominant tribe, easily smashed to victory. Kakaudrop ended up losing. They voted out Lincoln for being very inactive and not even bothering to show up to the game. Actually, on night 1, all 3 tribal idols were found on the first guesses made by people on their tribes. I'm not going to say who found them because you will see them later in the video. Anyway, coming into the second challenge, Kakaudrop rebounded, managed to avoid voting out a second person, and Makawata once again destroyed the challenge. Because Will suddenly went inactive and missed this challenge while DJ showed up, Will was the one who was voted out unanimously from Bua. Following that, Kakaudrop once again had to eliminate another person as Makawata smashed the challenge, and Bua rebounded to get another win. They ended up voting out Max because even though he was in the majority alliance, he wasn't helping them that much in challenges, and they were like, you know what, at least our outsiders are trying, you're not, you need to go. After that, Kakaudrop rebounded again, won the challenge. Makawata once again destroyed it, didn't have to bother going to tribal. Bua ended up voting out Scott after Scott made a plea to his other tribe mates. Look, life's getting in the way, I can't do this anymore, you guys need to vote me out. After that, we had a tribe swap where Bua was dissolved, and the remaining 14 members were divided up into 7 members on each tribe. The new Makawata consisted of Rodrigo, Brett, Bryce, Josh, Noah, Hufus, and KC, and the new Kakaudrop, consisted of Kyle, Ty, Reed, Claire, DJ, Michael, and Jim. Following this, the first 2 challenges, Makawata once again smashed the game. Kakaudrop ended up voting out Kyle for being very sketchy, and then they voted out Michael because even though he was helping them in challenges, Michael was a threat to go deep in the game, so they had to take him out now. Following that, Makawata finally lost their winning streak. Kakaudrop managed to rebound, won the next 2 challenges, which resulted in the elimination of Bryce because he was inactive, and in a tie vote, when we realized that Bryce was 3 days inactive and he wasn't coming back anytime soon, we decided, alright, we're pulling you from the game. Following that, Bryce actually did come back after that, unfortunately, and I apologize to him for that, but we had to eliminate you at the time, Bryce. I hope you understand. He cast his black vote against Noah, which was instrumental in Noah going home because it was split between the remaining 3 original Makawata members and the remaining 3 Kakaudrop members. The tie vote was broken by Bryce's black vote, sent Noah to the jury as our first jury member. Following that, the tribes merged into the newly named Yanuka tribe, wearing turquoise buffs. The tribe name is credited to KC because he did win our flag-making challenge at the final 10, which gave him that right. At that tribal, Brett, who had the Makawata idol since day 1, was worried that he was going to go home, but at the same time, he thought, you know what, I'm confident in my allies, I'm going to make it through this, I don't need this idol right now. Unfortunately, that was a bad move on his part as he was blindsided with the idol still in his back pocket. Following that, the remaining 9 players, they ganged up on Claire from Kakaudrop because she was a very big social threat to go deep in this game because she had made a lot of friends in the remaining players, and they realized, you know, if she goes deep, she's going to win this game, so we have to take her out now. Following that, at the final 8, after Jim won immunity at the auction, Josh was exiled from the auction because he purchased Exile Island without knowing, and Tai bought himself a not-so-hidden immunity idol. Because of this, Tai immediately became the target of the majority alliance because they wanted to get rid of that idol. And Tai, feeling the pressure, decided to play that idol. While at the same time, the minority members thought about targeting Hufus, which made him feel a little bit pressured about the vote as well, and also caused him to play the Kakaudrov idol he had since day one. However, both of those idols ended up being wasted as neither of them got any votes. What was funny is that the majority alliance at the last minute decided to switch to Rodrigo because they thought he's the one least likely to have the idol, and he's also the least likely one to get an idol from someone else. Because of that, Rodrigo ended up going home. Following that, it became pretty clear that the Makawata members' days were numbered, as they were now down to 2 members, while Kakaudrov still had 3 and Bua still had 2, and they were worried that the 5 of them would gang up on the 2 of them. And they tried to make some inroads, and they got someone to flip to their side, and it was a very close vote. But unfortunately for them, they didn't get enough votes, and Jim was voted out in a 4-3-1-1 vote. Tai played the merge idol that he found, and it only negated 1 vote against him, unfortunately, because he thought he was the target instead of Jim. That was a bad move on his part, and as a result, he's now the lone remaining Makawata member. Coming into the final 6, Tai was feeling the squeeze. He knew he was going home if he didn't win immunity at the Majority Rules Challenge. In the Majority Rules Challenge, Reed ended up guessing everyone else's answers correctly, and he won the tiebreaker against KC when he was the only one to answer the tiebreaker question correctly. Because of that, the group was split to decide between voting out Tai, who is the lone Makawata member, has got a lot of allies on the jury, or voting out Josh, who, even though he's backstabbed a lot of people, they still think those could be seen as good moves in the jury's eyes, and they might want to get rid of him. And in a 4-2 vote, Tai was unfortunately the next person voted out of the game, eliminating the Makawata members completely from the game. And with that, we come into the finale with 5 people left. That's right, we got 5 people left. Who will be the winner of INN Survivor's 3rd season? Will it be DJ, the Bua member who is seen by others as a great person, who hasn't upset anybody to this point in the game, and everyone's really friendly with him? However, this can be seen as a downside because that can make him seem like a jury threat, and even though he hasn't pissed anybody off and hasn't made any moves at the same time with himself at the forefront, the jury might reward this because he hasn't upset them. Can he make it through? Next up, we got Hufus. The white-level rookie from Kakaudrov started out on a rocky start when he was immediately targeted for missing the first immunity challenge, and then he was targeted once again at the second time his tribe went to tribal, when he was almost eliminated in a tie vote with Max, but was saved by his 2 allies, Casey and Josh. He had a hidden immunity idol, which he wasted at this point in time. He negated 0 votes against himself, and right now he's been seen as having... He's been in the majority alliance, and he's made some moves, but that has also upset some people. Is he going to win? Is he going to make it to the end? It's going to be interesting to find out. Next up, we got Josh, biggest backstabber in the game, as voted by himself and his fellow tribe members. He's made moves. He's pissed people off. Will that cost him the crown, or will that help people make him seem as a perfect person to take to the end? We'll find out. Next up, we got KC. KC, nicest guy of the remaining Kakaudrov members. He hasn't upset anybody in this game. He's worked closely with Josh and Hufus, but he hasn't got as much flack as the 2 of them because he hasn't upset others, apparently. Will he be making it to the end? And the final person right now is Reed. Reed has been targeted from day 1 in this game. He's found the Boo idol on his first guess. He's kept it with him to the end of the game, and he will probably be playing it at the final 5, which is the last time to play it. Will his game move? And he's also convinced people to flip to his side and not vote against him, which has allowed him to keep the idol until the last possible time in the game. Will his moves and his strategy pay off, or will the jury still see him as a sketchy person and say, nah man, you don't deserve it? Find out tonight on INN Survivor Vanua Levu, coming up right now.